First thing, perhaps, God made us and everything in the world to be a means of communicating his love to us and drawing us more fully into relationship with him. And emotions are part of that. If he has given us emotions, he's given us emotions for a reason relevant to our relationship with him. They have to, and emotions are such a huge part of our human makeup that it just stands to reason. You're being terribly, terribly illogical if you think that God would have created us this way and not had a very significant plan for emotions in our lives. So that's probably the big answer. Maybe some details. Well, one way to look at it is that Saint Ignatius of Loyola, who's one of the church's preeminent teachers on discerning what God is trying to do in us, to cut a long story short, when he describes how we should do that, central to what he's saying at every point is our emotions. This emotion tells us this, that emotion tells us that emotion tells us the other thing. This emotion, guides us this way, this emotion guides us that way. It's all, so Ignatius makes concrete, I suppose, what I was just saying, that emotions are a key part of God's plan for how we are to relate with him. Next point I'd make is what I just said before about compassion. One of the most important, if we see someone hungry, to give them food is compassion. Fair enough? It's the obvious act. If we see someone cold, to give them warmth and clothing is an act of compassion. But maybe the most fundamental need for compassion that we have is to actually have somebody listen to us. I work, my main work is in spiritual direction. I spend a lot of time listening to people, and the hunger in human souls to be listened to is enormous. It's enormous. Once you start, it's like when you have a drink of water and you didn't realise that you were thirsty until you had the drink of water, and then all of a sudden, oh gee, I'm so thirsty. It's like that. People don't realise how desperate they are to be listened to, and furthermore, what they want to have listened to is especially their emotions. I suppose, as I said at the beginning, I could give a much longer answer, but perhaps take my word for it that my main work is sitting with people, listening to them, and I ask them about what they're feeling. And a lot of people find that hard because they're not used to it, but I see people's lives changed, I see people's lives healed. I see people who come in broken go out healed. People who come in hopeless going out hopeful, and the key element of that, quite frankly, is I listen to their emotions. The same, for me, there's proof of how important it is to listen to our emotions.